honest, this wasn't the video that I had planned for this week. I had another original that I was going to play for you guys, and I recorded it and it just didn't sound the way that I wanted it to, so I want to hold back on that one and wait until it's something that I'm genuinely proud of and that I feel like I want to share. Instead, I'm going to be singing another original song for you guys today. Not gonna lie, this is probably the most vulnerable song I've ever posted on my channel. I'm gonna talk about why after I sing it, so this is probably gonna be like the most vulnerable video, period, but I'm really excited. I love this song and I really hope you like it too. If you are looking at my setup, know that this is not original at all. This is inspired by Dustin Vlong's video on YouTube. Check him out, he's great, love him. And yeah, okay. This is called Salt. Sorry you can hear construction in the background. I tried to draw out the lines, but that made it harder. My head's underwater and I can't seem to remember how to swim. Is that what I get for all this? Just lungs full of salt when it wasn't my fault. And you were the one who pushed me in. Keep your distance. You had fun putting me at the front line. You first showed your sacrifice, and I used to feel so special. But your bullets ran out, didn't take them too long now to shoot me in my mouth, so I never get a chance to talk. And I'll keep your distance. I'm not your friend. All the plans that we made, promised you'd stay. I'm glad you got away, I'm glad you got away. Was it all just one big mistake? Is that what I get for all this? Just lungs full of salt. Wasn't my fault. That's a lot. Okay. How do I talk about this? Salt was a song that I wrote last summer. Not this last summer, but summer like 2022. That whole entire year for me, honestly, but like especially in the summer, it was just like a whirlwind of emotions for me. Like, I would be so sad and so lonely for long periods of time, and then I would feel like okay again, and I would kind of come out of it a little bit, and then I would just be like right back in it, and it just, that cycle just kept repeating, and it would be triggered by things that were happening, but sometimes it would not be triggered by anything at all, and I was just really, really sad, and I was so hard trying not to think about it and not to remember. I am the type of person that if they go through something or something is not fun, I just truly just don't remember it. Like the other day I was thinking about the situation and I searched through my messages just to read messages of when I was talking about it, or what I was saying to these people that were involved in it, like actually during the situation. And I was reading it and it felt like I was like an outsider reading this in. I was like, oh my God, how did I ever let it get that bad, you know? And it's crazy because I forgot all of the like little nuances and little small things that affected me so heavily. And you know, you remember less what people do and more so how they make you feel. And all I had was the feeling, but sometimes even I feel so invalidated by the feelings that I feel, because I'm like, but what exactly happened that made you feel that way? And so reading these messages and like kind of remembering things, it was like, oh my God, that's why. That's exactly the reason why. And that summer specifically, I wasn't thinking about it, but I was still feeling it. And it just made me so sad, and I didn't really understand why. And I was having a lot of anxiety at that time. I don't know if it was related, it probably was, but that was like the first time I ever really had like actual true anxiety attacks. And it just felt like my body and my mind were at war with each other. And it felt like I didn't really have any place to land. I didn't really have anybody to go to. I had like my mom, and like that's literally just it. Like that's how it felt for me, which is obviously not true. There's always other people that you can go to, even if you don't think so. But I didn't know how to, or didn't want to. But Salt, I wrote July 31st. I wrote a lot that summer, and I wrote a lot of my favorite songs that summer, which is funny because I always say, like, I feel like I can't really write good songs when I'm really sad. And, like, these are literally some of my favorite songs. And not necessarily all of them were about this specific situation, but I wrote, like, a few that were about this. It was Salt. I wrote Salt about this. I wrote Home, the song that I have called Home. I posted a little bit of it on TikTok. And then there's this other song that I'll probably play for you guys in the future called Unmolding, which I wrote at the end of the summer. And it was just kind of like me trying to relinquish all the things that I'd been like harping on over that whole summer. But Salt in particular has always been one of my favorites that I wrote about this situation. I just feel like so rarely I write songs that I completely and truly 1000% relate to. And this song is exactly how I feel, exactly what I wanted to say verbatim. Like, I didn't cut any corners, I didn't leave anything out. One of my favorite things about it is that I never explicitly say anything. You know, like I tell the truth, but I don't tell it directly. This whole song is a metaphor. This entire song is a metaphor. That's what I get for all this just lungs full of salt when it wasn't my fault. It's kind of that realization at the end of something that, you know, when people make you feel bad about yourself, or when people make you hate being around them, it's not always you. It's not always just, oh, well, maybe I'm just not into it today, or maybe I'm just like, maybe something's the matter with me, maybe I'm just not being a good friend, and that's not necessarily the case, you know. And for me, it wasn't the case. I genuinely tried so hard to be the best person in every situation and the best friend that I could be in every situation, and things still fell apart. And I felt so much guilt about that, especially because I felt like I was the one who kind of walked away from everything. I was like, I should have fought harder, I should have tried more, and it took a lot for me to realize that I did, and I do. And at some point you just have to throw in the towel and be like, okay, I tried, that's it, I'm done, I tried my best. I have a song called Try My Best, which is also about this. But I haven't played that one for you guys because I have big plans for that song, but it's literally like the same situation. And I actually wrote that song well before this one. And so this one is kind of like, this song specifically is in kind of the reeling of it and like the aftermath, and realizing like, oh my God, like I fought so hard. I did so much. I tried so hard. And I allowed you to hurt me for ages before I stuck up for myself. That's not a word. Before I took up for myself. I think one of the most cathartic lyrics I've ever written in my entire life is "Keep your distance, I'm not your friend." Because at the time that wasn't really how I felt. I felt like I didn't want these people to keep their distance from me. I felt like I wanted them to come back and to apologize and to make amends, and I wanted us to be good again, and I still consider these people my friends, and you know, part of me still does. You know, I don't hate anybody, I don't dislike anybody, I still have love for everyone who has ever been in my life, and I always will. I will also have resentment, but I have love before that, or at least I'm trying to. I'm not perfect either, but writing that lyric, I just remember sitting on my bed and writing it, and I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want to say. It's like, that was it. Just the power of saying, like, I'm not your friend, like, I am not a person that you can go to or use anymore. And it hurt making that realization, and I'm getting emotional thinking about it now, but it was so important for me to say that and to make that distinction between people who are in my circle and who are my friends and who are my loved ones, and people who no longer serve me. And I felt like I was being so selfish at the time, and now I'm like, babe, you should have been selfish so much sooner, because like it truly was just weighing in on me so much. I was so anxious all the time. I was so uncomfortable whenever I was with these people. I was uncomfortable whenever I was talking about them, talking to them, and it drove me crazy. And for some people in that situation, like, I just knew that that's what their goal, that was their goal. And it's just, oh, it's so crazy to me how sad I was. It was so sad. It was so sad. I think my favorite verse is the second verse, which there are many people involved in this situation. The second verse is more so aimed towards one particular person. I had this person in mind when I was writing it, and it's just literally how I felt about our specific dynamic and how I felt around them. I bet you had fun putting me at your front line. So your first soldier sacrificed, and I used to feel so special. I feel like I'm always the type of person that wants to be useful and helpful, and it's just my nature. I just want to be a good friend, and I want to be a good person to go to. I want to give you advice. I want to help you. I want to be a listening ear. I want to be a friend. I want to be a friend so bad, like, and I feel like that was taken advantage of. It sucked and it hurt, and I didn't love it, and I got a really cool verse out of it, and I just love that metaphor of being a soldier. You know, like when you're in the army, which I've never been in, but I imagine it's like this. You know, your first row of people when you're in combat, like face to face, you know, everybody in that first row is gone. There's just no way that they're making it out. And I feel like for those soldiers, because I was thinking about it, I was like, why would you ever do that? Like, why would you want to be that first person when you know that if you're in the back and you're like chilling in the cut, like, you're probably not going to die, or you're not going to die as quickly as those people in the front lines. And I was like, it's probably an honor for them to be able to sacrifice themselves for their country or for whatever it is that they're fighting for. And that's how I felt, like, allowing myself to kind of be a punching bag for people, or allowing myself to be ridiculed or talked about in certain situations in a way that I didn't appreciate. And like it made me feel special that I was a person that this person would go to. You know, it made me feel special being everybody else's number one, even though being their number one and being so close to them was what made this all hurt so much more. And it's like those people in the front lines, I feel like everybody behind them's job is to protect them and help them out as much as they can. But, you know, in the song I say, your bullets ran out. Like, you couldn't protect me anymore, and you didn't want to. That was never your goal. Your goal was only ever to help yourself and keep yourself secure. And, dude, like, the power of writing that verse, it just felt so good to say it and to articulate how exactly I'd been feeling. And Yeah, it's forever one of my favorite things I've ever written. For anybody who's going through something like that, like, I hate this part where, like, it gets cheesy and I'm, like, on my soapbox telling you, like, it'll get better or whatever, and you're probably like, ah, that's so gross, but it really does. It really does. If you're going through a breakup, a friend breakup, just hard times with your family, like, whatever it might be, it's going to get better. It really is, and you are 100% valid in however you feel. Don't allow people to flip the narrative or change the script. If something happened and you feel a certain way about it because of something that happened, that's fine. That is 100% valid, and you're entitled to feel how you feel. And I think for so long I gaslit myself into thinking that I wasn't allowed to feel certain ways about people. And I was like, well, yes, the bad is bad, but the good is great, and I can stick it out, and I can be friends with these people that I have planned my entire life with. And, you know, plans don't always work out. Plans change, dreams change, and people change, and there's nothing you can do about it, man. Someday, in some way, shape, or form, you're gonna find what you lost in other people or in other things, and you're gonna feel so much better and so much safer and more secure. And you're gonna feel even better about yourself because you know that you took those steps that you needed to take to heal. That's what this song is. This song is sad, but it's healing. I feel healed when I sing this song. It means a lot to me, and I really appreciate you listening to this if you listen to the whole thing through. I'm reading through notes that I wrote at this time. I said I feel like nothing is going right for me right now. What have I accomplished compared to other people? I have no friends, basically. I'm so exhausted. I'm so sick of trying. What am I trying for? Because you're trying for this moment. You're trying for this moment where you're going to sit in a bathtub and you're going to sing this song that you wrote about one of the hardest things you've ever gone through, and you're going to be detached from it. That's what you're trying for, babe.